Alrighty, guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for checking it out. We do appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, everyone. So, in this episode here, we are not going to be going over our top 100 board games of all time 2025 edition. What we're going to be doing is talking about the process that it takes to create that list, what I've done, and things I've done in 2024 to kind of give you some background if you're new around here, you're not familiar, understanding where I'm coming from, talk about what are the games I like, and just kind of general overview. So when you watch the top 100 games of all time, you have a pretty good understanding of how I did it and why I did it. So that's all that this episode is going to be about, and a lot of this information we're going to cover tomorrow in our end of year review show. So if you want to just watch that instead, we're going to be giving a lot more information. This is just going to be general information. In fact, let's start with the general information. What did I do in 2024? Well, this is what I did as I log everything in Board Game Geek once I play it, because I think it's very important to keep track of information. So if you add up all those numbers, at least in Excel, it added up to 544 different gameplays. So I have 544 different gameplays in 2024, and it's still technically not going to be done because I've got another game scheduled tonight with Phoenix Knight, and we've got a game scheduled tomorrow. So it's going to be somewhere around 545, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, somewhere in there. So we'll just round it up and say around 550 games played in 2024. Of those 550 games that we played a total of 226 different games. 226 different games. And of those 226 different games, 124 of those were brand new games. I highlight everything in red when I'm doing my monthly sheet reviews, so this way it's easy for me at the end of the year to just grab all the ones that are highlighted in red. And so we got 124 different games in 2024. These were brand new games to me. In 2024, and I just did a video last week talking about my top 10 of those 124 games. In 2023, if you think, well, this is just a fluke, in 2023, we actually did 132 brand new games to me in there. So we didn't quite match what we did in 2023. We weren't trying to match it. We're just trying to keep a consistent, kind of a consistent gameplay mode going along. I don't think 2025 we're going to be focusing in on making sure we do 100 again. I would like to do somewhere between 50 and 100 every single year. I think that's a good number, or more if possible. It just depends. There's a ton of games I got this year and a ton of games I want to still get, and there's still a ton of games, a boatload of games as I look around my room that I can see here and go, oh, I've never played that. Merchants of the Dark Road, I picked it up, never played it. Beyond the Sun, picked it up, never played it. What else do we have here? Maracaibo, picked it up, never played it. So I probably have 100 games within harm's reach that I haven't played. So we've got plenty of games to continue playing. Unbroken, which is actually probably going to be our first game of this year. In 2025. So there's tons of games that we're going to be playing, going through the process of just trying out a whole bunch of different games. And that's kind of what I do. I play lots and lots of games. I play lots and lots of different games. I don't really invest a lot of time into a game to thoroughly analyze. I don't go through long campaigns, 8 to 10 to 12 missions or anything like that. I tend to one-off, easy, quick, simple games. I do enjoy heavier more complex games. You will see many, many, many of those on the list. I do enjoy them, but they have to be really good for me to enjoy them. There was many games that were big, meaty, chunky games. Mosaic is a great example. Mosaic, the deluxe edition that I picked up last year and played it a couple times. And I really had a good time the first time I played it. The second time I played it, it was just dragging on. And after like 3 hours, I killed it. I just said, I'm done. I just can't play this game anymore. So for a big, meaty, chunky game, it really has to be something that's really, really good for me to keep engaged and keep me wanting to play it and keep me going, keep me energized with it. So I'm just giving you some background so you understand what kind of games I like. And hopefully, you learn a few things as we go along about me. Let's talk about how I went through and decided my best board games of all time for 2025 edition. Well, the first thing I did, and you can go back and watch, we started going through the Pub Meeple. If you're not familiar with that site, you can import your Board Game Geek list, and then it'll give you 2 games, and you're going to have to choose which game is better. And you do that. I have a total of 662 games in Board Game Geek. So to analyze that 662 and give me a pretty good pretty good list, it took me 3,400 and some odd clicks. It said approximately this is going to take 3,400 and some odd clicks. So we went through that whole process, which took several hours. And at the end, it gives you a pretty decent list of games that you like, games that are okay, and then games that you don't like. And from that list, you then have to kind of fine tune and say, I like this a lot more than when it ranked it. I'm going to move it up. And you got to kind of fine tune your list. But it gives you a really good outcome of kind of a general overview of your thoughts and on games. And it does a pretty good job, actually. I didn't have to change a lot. There was a couple outliners. Like, I saw a couple games that was like, oh, no. This game is a lot higher than this. And so I had to manually go in and edit. So what I see, I'm looking at my Excel sheet over here. So once I have my list from Pub Meeple, I import it into Excel. So I have a list that goes from 1 all the way down to 662. Then what I can do is I copied over the first 250 into another column. So I have another column. And from there, I went through and I got rid of a lot of games that have duplicate entries is what I'm calling them. So an example of this would be like Cartographers. And then for some reason, Cartographer Heroes is classified as a different game. And yes, it is a different game, but it's basically in my opinion, an expansion for the base Cartographers game. So I don't want to rank Cartographers and Cartographers Heroes. So what I had to do is go through the list a second time and get rid of every single game that had multiple copies. Like, for example, War, Aeon Zen War Eternal, Aeon Zen, there's 8 different big boxed editions. I don't want to have 8 different copies or 8 different outcomes of Aeon Zen in my top 250 games. So I had to go through and get rid of those. And once I got rid of all those, then I had a bunch of open spots. So then I copied those over for a third time into another column. And then that's when I fine-tuned my list. Added the games in that were outside the 100 that I thought needed to go into the top 100, and then fine-tune the top 100, moving up a couple games, move down, because I had a bunch of different openings. I was able to move stuff around and kind of finagle it into a nice, easy group. So that worked out really, really well. Then after I did all that information, then I went ahead and did I started going through Board Game Geek and started at game 100 and took a screenshot and created a screenshot of the image of the game box, or the game box, and the rank it had. I created an image in like Word, and then I took I took a screenshot of my image in Word, and I did that 100 different times for every for every single output. And then so I have the information where it's ranked this year in 2025, and then in 2024, what was it ranked in 2024. So you have an idea of what this game was, and if it was ranked previously or not previously on my channel. So that's kind of what I've been doing to create all this. If you're not familiar with doing a top 100 list of all time, I would highly recommend you try it sometime, because you'll see how much work and effort it is. So you can appreciate a little bit of appreciation for the people that actually come up with the list and do it. And as you can see, maybe, we're starting ours January 1st. In fact, let me pop up the full image over here so we can see it. There we go. All right, we're going to be starting our list January 1st, which is literally in 2 days from now. And we're going to be doing it 5 straight nights. January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be counting down 20 games a night. So I have all the screenshots done. I have all the information done. I have everything calculated, everything figured out. And I have the list done, and I have the screenshots done, and I have everything ready to go for it, because I couldn't wait till the night before, because the night beforehand I'll be going through. So we're going to, we did this for the last 2 or 3 years. We did it online, and we did it with Phoenix Knight and Higher Ground Gaming and Lower Slower Board Gamer. And I really liked doing it with those guys and having a good time and seeing what games they had on their list and doing all that fun stuff and getting a lot of interaction between us. And it was a great time with all of them. And I would do it again. The problem is scheduling with everyone, and I want to get this list done and over as quickly as I can this year, because I don't want it to drag on and on and on and on. I want to just get it done and over with. I'm one of these, when I start a project now, I want it to just get it done and over with. I don't want it to drag on. And if I got to wait, if we only do like 1 show or 2 shows a week, that's 10 weeks you're looking at. So that's like 2.5 months. Or at least 5 weeks, which is going to be, it's going to be longer than, a month and a half, almost a month and a half by the time it's done, of time. And I decided this year I wasn't going to wait that long, and I was just going to do it myself. And for scheduling purposes, I know Phoenix Knight's got a lot of projects going on. He's starting his thing. In fact, I'm playing with Phoenix Knight tonight. We're playing on my channel, so come on by and check that out, as we're going to be playing tonight. So we're, I'm still good friends with all of them, and I really, again, had a great time doing it with them. I enjoyed the camaraderie and talking about all the different games and everything, and having a good time. But it was just scheduling issues and problems, and trying to make sure that I could get this done as quickly as possible. I know Phoenix Knight couldn't do it until like February or March, and it was just, no, I don't want to wait that long. So I decided I'm just going to do it my own. So you can see January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, every night. We're going to be counting down the top 20 games for that night. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the games. All right, so let's talk about the games. What I see and what I see about my list, and from last year or previous years. And the first thing I will say is sports games, which when I create my list, I'm probably the only YouTuber out there, that gives equal cadence to Euro games, war games, sports games, Ameritrash games, everything. If it's a game, it doesn't matter if it's a sports game or a Euro game or a war game. They get equal cadence based on how good they are. So I know a lot of channels just do Euro games, and a lot of channels just do sports games. A lot of channels just do war games. I am maybe the outliner in that I do everything here on my channel. I cover just about every kind of game there is out there. And I don't do that for a purpose. I do that because that's what I like. I like sports games. I enjoy playing the sports games. I enjoy the sports games community, which are really good guys. I love all those guys. I like the wargaming, and I really have a great time with those guys as well. I don't really have a Euro game community, I guess. It's just kind of people that, those are just people I just don't know as much as I do for the other things. So I will probably be the only YouTuber this year on the internet. Maybe there might be some others out there. I don't know. But I take equal consideration when I look at Payoff Pitch Baseball, and I look at Normandy 44, and I look at Wingspan. I look at all three of those with equal eyes. I know, like, if you look at Tom Bassel, right? And I hate to call out him, but he is like the worst person to have as your spokesperson for board gaming, because he doesn't give equal cadence to different. If it's not something in his sweet spot, then it doesn't get. He doesn't like wargaming. He doesn't like sports gaming, so he will not give it equal cadence. I've been on and watched as he said live with people there that he doesn't like war games. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, you are a jerk and you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Right? So, hashtag let's get rid of Tom 2025, because he's just the worst of the worst. And I can't stand people like that. I really can't. The Euro gamers that can't look at wargaming, and the wargaming guys that can't look at the Euro games. I think a game is a game, and it should be equal footing based. Shouldn't matter what the subject matter is. It should matter what the game is about. So that's what my channel is all about. I give equal cadence to everything. I do sports gaming, I do war gaming, I do Ameritrash, I do Euro gaming, and I love it all. And you'll see on my list, I have a lot of good games. Now, with all that said, I did notice that 2025 list, sports games did end up taking a little bit of a beating because, number one, there wasn't. Sports games don't get released every year. Like, you don't get like 2,000 new baseball sims. It just doesn't happen, right? It just doesn't happen. Like, there's 2,000 Euro games released every year, but there's not 2,000 sports games released every year. So sports gaming, because they only have a couple new games every year, they don't really cycle in and out as much as other games. So when sports games take a fall, they all take a fall. The only new games that I can think of that I played this year was the Dice Nuts. I played Dice Nuts Golf, I played Dice Nuts Hockey, Dice Nuts Soccer, Dice Nuts Basketball, I think. I didn't play the football, but I played the other four. And those are really good games. Did they make the top 100 list? Well, I guess you'll have to see. But you can see just a couple new sports games. So in general, sports gaming took kind of a lower overall ranking in my list. And to be honest, the best thing that happened from this was wargaming got a bump for some reason. I played a lot more wargaming in 2024 than I have in the last few years. There was a lot more interaction. There was a lot more live play with Wolfpack, and I'm trying to think of the other one that we played live. Plum Island Horror we played. And I think there was another one that we played. Oh, we played Combat Commander, me and Phoenix Knight. I was doing a tutorial. So there was a lot more online, face-to-face. Oh, I played Combat Commander with my good friend Cardboard Commander. Check out his channel, Cardboard Commander. He's a great wargamer, and he contacted me about playing Combat Commander. So we had a great time playing it this year. And we're going to continue playing games together all through 2025. So I think wargaming is going to take another big bump, because we're going to be playing a bunch of brand new games on the channel, and learning a whole bunch of new war games. So, and it'll be face to face, which is of course really good, because there's not a lot of great solo war games out there. I don't know if you know this or not. There's just not a lot. A lot of war games don't come with the solo mode in them. So, which I should talk about how I rank my games. I started to talk about it, and then I got sidetracked, and I apologize for that. Here is how I rank my games. I look at the core game, whether it's a sports game, a war game, a Euro game, Ameritrash, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I look at the core game, and I look at how good the core game is. And I give it a number. Let's just say 8. Then I look and see how many times did I play that game in 2024. If it's a great game and you don't play it, it shouldn't be ranked very high. That's just how I feel about it. So I look at the core game and I say, give it a score. Then I say, how many times did I play this game in 2024? If I played it a lot, that means it's probably a pretty good game. If I didn't play it very much, it might not be a great game. Or maybe I just didn't get around to playing it that much. I only played 544 different game sessions, and I only played 226 games in 2024. So 226 games. Of those 226 games, 124 were brand new games. That only leaves me 114 other games that I played. So are all these? I think just about every single one of these in the top 100 I played in 2024. Because again, if I don't play it, it's going to get knocked down a couple notches. You can have a 10 game. If it was played 0 times, it's going to get a -2 points. And it's going to drop from a 10 to an 8. It's just as simple as it is. If it's a 6 game and I played it 10 times, it might get a bump to a 7. Or if it's a 7 game, it might get bumped to an 8. So I look at the core game. Then I look at how many times it was played. And then the last component is, how good does it play solo? I think that is a huge component. I don't subtract if it doesn't have a good solo. So if a game is a 7 and I played it a bunch and it made it up to an 8 and it has a terrible solo mode, it stays an 8. But if it has a good solo mode, it can bump it up even further. So a 7 game can go to 8 if I played it a lot. And then if it has a great solo mode, it might get bumped to a 9. So that's how I rate things. I rate it as take the base game, give it a score, then base it on how many times I played it. It's going to either gain a point, gain 2 points, lose a point, or lose 2 points. So it's only going to gain or lose 1 point based upon gain or lose 2 points based upon how many times I played it. And then if it has a good to great solo mode, it's either going to get 1, or on any very, very extreme, it might get 2 points. So that's how I rate games. If it's two equal games and I played them equally and one's got a good solo mode and one's got a great solo mode, this one's going to get a higher score. Hey, what's going on, Higher Ground Gaming? What's going on? You better see some worker placements, Euros. You will see some worker place Euros for sure. Absolutely. You won't be surprised that I just got done saying I got 124 brand new games. A lot of those because of you, my friend, and recommendations from your previous year. And I really, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you continue to do your top 100 list. I know we're not doing it together this year, but I hope you spend the effort and time to do it because I want to see your list and I want to see what you do and I want to see how well you rank things. Because I want to laugh at how bad your rankings are. So it'd be great. You and Phoenix Knight make me laugh for sure. So anyways, Higher Ground Gaming, check out his channel, guys. Great channel. Wonderful guy. You know, does a lot of really good stuff, and I've known him for years and years, and we've had a lot of good times, and we've even played together online, and we can continue doing that. We should continue doing that. Unfortunately, he is going to make it this year. So that's how I rank my games. I give it a score. How many times did I play it? And then, does it have a really good solo? Again, if it doesn't have a solo mode, it doesn't lose any points. It just does. I don't think you can take points away from a game if it doesn't have a solo mode. But if it does have a solo mode, you should give it an extra points, an extra spot. And you'll see a lot of games on my list here. You'll see a game. It was at 64 last year, and now it's at 86. And the reason it dropped is because I only played it one time. And it's just, if I don't play a game, it's going to start falling. It's going to start falling fast, and pretty soon it's going to be off the list. In fact, speaking of off the list, let's talk about our honorable mentions. Games that I honestly thought, when I created the list, and I'm going through Pub Meeple and I'm guessing games, and if somebody was to hold a gun to my head and said, okay, Jester, these two games, are they both going to be in your top 100? And I would say yes. Okay, yeah, they're going to make somehow a lot of these games. Here's the thing. Like, I play a lot of games. And in 2023, I played 132 more new games. And then this year, in 2024, I played 124 more games. So in 2 years, I have 256 new games that I never played before that could be on my list of top 100 games of all time. I can make a top 10 list on all the games that I played this year. Brand new games that I played this year. So to be on the list is an accomplishment whether you're at 1 or whether you're at 100, because there is a boatload of games that I have learned and played in the last couple of years. So let's talk about some honorable mentions. Games that I thought, it's going to be on the list, top 100 for sure, because I love this game, and then it didn't make it. Well, I will give out a couple. I will give out a couple of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Didn't make the list this year because I've decided to take Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion and Gloomhaven and put them into, again, one group, because I don't want to take up two different spots for basically kind of the same game. Okay, so you won't see that game on the list. Games that I thought were going to make it on the list that didn't make it. Nations at War. I love me some Nations at War. Problem is, you guessed it, I didn't play it. And I don't think I played it, actually. I should check my list, but I don't think I played it in 2024. So it didn't make the top 100. It fell off. Fell off the top 100. We have a game I really, really liked last year, and I know it's going to be on Higher Ground Gaming's list, I bet, is a game called Tile Tim. And I played that in 2023 a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, had a great time with it. Good solo mode, David Turtsey solo mode. And in 2024, it never made it to the table. I never had a chance to get it to the table. And I had plenty of opportunity. I just played other things. And if that's the case, if you have an opportunity to play a game and you choose something else to play, then this game can't be as high on your list. I would love it to be on my list. I think it's a great game. Unfortunately, it didn't quite make it. Stratomatic Baseball, for the second year in a row, did not make my top 100. I still think it's a really good game. I played it a bunch in 2024. I think I played it like 6 or 7 or 8 times. I can't remember the exact number, but I played it a bunch. I didn't play it as much as other sports sims. But again, sports sims in general took a dive just because they're getting old and repetitive. There's nothing new. There's very few new things on the market. So you either really love this game. And for me, Stratomatic is a fine game. It's just not top 100 material. So it didn't make the top 100. Second year in a row. It fell out last year as well. Let's see. Some other ones that kind of surprised me. Right. Some of these are a little. There was a lot of combinations this year. Again, like for example, Marvel United, and then there's a Marvel United X-Men. No, I'm not going to have 2 different Marvel United, so I combine those into one thing. Okay. Let's see. Other ones that I was very surprised didn't make the list. Castles of Burgundy is another one that I thought for sure. Did I play Marrakesh yet? I have not played Marrakesh yet. I have not played it. Is it on Board Game Arena? I'll have to check it out if it is. I'm playing more and more games on Board Game Arena. I've played quite a few different games on Board Game Arena. Another game that didn't make it was Command and Colors Ancients. Didn't make it, but again, a caveat because I decided not to have. I got 6 different versions of Command and Colors. I got Command and Colors Ancients, Command and Colors Medieval, Command and Colors Napoleonic. So last year I did the same thing. I combined them all into one game and gave that game a spot on the list. Yeah, I saw Orleans was on there now, and I want to try that out. Another one that I thought would make the list for sure because it's a great game, Halls of Hegra. Didn't make my top 100 this year, so honorable mention to Halls of Hegra. I really think that is a great game. It's just one of those games that I did play it in 2024. I'm pretty sure I played it in 2024, but when I played it, it was one of those okay experiences. It wasn't like, oh, this is a great game. The first time I played it, I had a great time with it. Second time I played it, it was, I don't know if it was, I think it was just a little bit longer. I played it into the end of the game where the Germans, excuse me, when the Germans were attacking. And I just I didn't like how long it ended up playing, so it just didn't make the top 100. It's still a great game, so that's why I'm giving it an honorable mention. one of my all-time favorites, and one of Ruff's favorites, and one of Nate's favorite games of all time, just missed out. Number 108 was Tide of Iron. I know. Tide of Iron was 108. It was so close to making it in the top 100, and it just fell just inches wide. I would have loved to seen that one there. Trying to think of what other ones that people like, really popular games that didn't make my list. Let's see. Right. Halls of Hegra, the Castles of Burgundy didn't make the list. Yeah, I'm not, let me just see, because I don't want to say that didn't make the list. If didn't make the list, I'm surprised. One of my favorite games recently was Roman Roll, and that didn't make the list either. I didn't get it. I got to play it twice, but I only played like the beginning of the game, and then my wife had surgery, and then I had to take care of her for a couple weeks, so I couldn't pick up the game and keep playing it every night, so I put it away. And then the first time I played it, I played like the first hour or two, and then never got back to it and put it away. So it's one of those games that I kept saying to myself, I would like to play this before the end of the year. I would like to play this before the end of the year. And I never did. And if you don't, you have to make choices. And if the choice is play X or play Y, and Y doesn't make the list because of the choices you make. So, Point Blank Venus for Victory was 129, very close to the top 100. Just didn't. I was thinking it was going to make it this year. Again, another game I swore I was going to play this year before the end of the year, and now the end of the year is here, and it never got around to it. So, Dawn of the Zeds must have made it. No, Dawn of the Zeds did not make it. I didn't play it again, and I had it on the table twice this year. I didn't even text Herman once and said, hey, I'm going to play your Dawn of the Zeds tonight when I get home from work. Put it on the table and was reading the rules and then put it away. And I was like, I know Higher Ground Gaming played like the first scenario. I should be able to play the first scenario. And I never did. So Dawn of the Zeds did not make it either. Yeah, Herman's going to get, he's probably going to get rid of me, all right. He's not going to be happy. But we'll see. Plum Island Horror might have made the list. I can't remember. Maybe. I'm not spoiling anything, but I did play Plum Island Horror a couple times this year. I actually played Plum Island Horror with Herman Luttman and the Player Aid guys, Grant and Alexander. So at Buckeye Game Fest, the four of us sat down and played Plum Island Horror, which was awesome. You don't get to hang out with the Players Aid guys very often. I don't. I'm not a big one of the bigwigs. And to sit down with the designer and play with those guys, it was a great, one of the highlights of my year. And we'll talk about that tomorrow when we have our end of review show. So this is just a preview of what you can expect. Top 100 games of all time, how I went about the process of creating the list, what kind of games do I like. So I talked about it. I like games that are single playthrough with lots of randomization. I love games that give you random setup. Any game that's like, oh, take the pile of these cards, pull 4 of them out and put them on the table, and then take all these tiles and shuffle them up and pull 3 and put them out on the table. I love games with random setups. I love games that give you lots of different characters to play. Like, oh, hey, I can play this character. I can play this character. I can play this one. I got 38,000 different characters to play. Wow, that's awesome. So I love games that give you lots of different characters to play. I love games that are one-off. I don't like legacy games where you gotta like go through a scenario, tear up parts of the cards, undo envelopes so you can get the next thing out of the envelope. I don't like games like that. So Aeon's End Legacy didn't make my list. As much as I love Aeon's End, I could not stand Aeon End Legacy where I got to create my own mages and I got to create my own... I got to decide which powers to give them and all kinds of crazy... I don't like doing that stuff. I don't like having to create the game myself. I want the game to create itself and let me enjoy the game. That's what I like. And I like random setups, so every time I sit down and play the game, it's different. And I like games that give you lots of different options, lots of different characters, lots of different, do this, play with these characters, or do this and play with these characters, do this and play with these characters. Fallen Land is a great example. I did not play Fallen Land in 2024, although did it make the list? I don't know. We'll see. Again, I take the game, I compare how many times I played it and give it a bump up or a bump down based upon how many times I played it. And then doesn't have a good solo mode. If it has a good solo mode, I bump it up again. I don't penalize if it doesn't have a good solo mode. Dominion, I'm speaking of you, Dominion. Let's see what else didn't make the list. So that's the games I kind of like, and the games I don't like. I don't like big long campaign games, although I have a bunch of them. Like Bard Song, and I have new one I just picked up, Frosthaven. I haven't even cracked the box open. I did crack the box open, but that was all I did. So I like games that I can put on the table. I can get some kind of random setup, so every time it's different, and I can play with some character that I have never played before, so it's a brand new experience. That's the kind of games that really, really kind of drive, the games that I enjoy and the games that are probably going to be rated really high on my list. I do play sports games, I do play Euro games, I play Ameritrash games, and I play war games, and again, I'm probably the only YouTuber that will analyze each of those fairly and equally. There's not many of us out there that, a lot of people love the war games, a lot of people love the sports games, not a lot of people love them equally. I'm like one of those people, I guess. I'm weird in that way. There was games on my list that fell like, let's see if I can find a good example. There was a game that went up 440 spots because I played it several times and I had never played it. Well, I hadn't played it in a couple years. There was games that fell down quite a bit because I didn't play them. And games that I moved up because they were played. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There are 22 games that are on the list that were not on the list last year. So that means games that were on the list, 22 of them are off from last year already. That's 1 year's time. That's how much content we've come across and content that we've done. When you play 226 new games, Sooner or later, you're going to find some of those that are pretty good. Just law of averages says sooner or later, you're going to get a couple good ones. And those good ones are going to come in and replace some of the ones that didn't make it last year. So a lot of the games in the 90s and 80s and 70s probably aren't going to be here anymore. Maybe even worse. There's games that popped up 225 spots. That's a lot of spots that popped up. And the reason is because we played it. Played it a couple times. Never played it before. And now all of a sudden we played it a couple times. But it'll be a good experience to get and do again with everyone out there. Again, Phoenix Knight, Higher Ground Gaming, check out those channels. They're going to be doing their, hopefully, top 100s at all times as well. Excuse me, I got the frog in the throat all of a sudden. So anyways, we're going to call it here, and I just wanted to give everyone kind of a overview, what to experience, what to expect, and how I rank things, and how I did, my created my list, and hopefully give you guys some inspiration to try and do it for yourself. If you have never done a list before, do it. Try it in 2025. Spend some effort and some work, and in the end, you'll be very happy, because in 2026, you'll be like looking back and going, holy cow, yeah, I really liked that game last year. Like, if you don't have it all written down, you're not going to remember like how good a game was unless you actually go through the process of doing it. So I would highly recommend you spend a little time doing it, and you'll enjoy the outcome in the end. So thanks everyone for watching. Tonight at 8 o'clock, me and Phoenix Knight are going to be playing Spirit Island. I believe it's going to be Spirit Island tonight, unless at the last minute we change to a different game. Otherwise, we'll see everyone soon, my friends. Tomorrow, last day of 2024, we're going to be doing our review show, the year review show. It's going to be probably a 2-hour show, so it's going to be long. We're going to cover a bunch of the stuff we talked about today, talk about everything coming up in 2025 and our goals for 2025. Having goals, very, very important. Make sure you get some goals done. Your goal should be, number one, create a list of top 100 games of all time. And if you only played 50 games, then create a list of top 50 games. It doesn't matter. You got to start somewhere. Start it. All right, everyone, we'll see you soon. Until then, my friends, you take care of yourselves. And don't you forget, I will see you all down the line. Bye for now.